Hello everyone, you're about to hear a brief retelling of the movie The Price of Cheating. Enjoy the movie. Charlie Shine has a dog, a family, and a good job. But life is marred by his daughter's illness. Emmy has periotip diabetes, requiring expensive treatment. Charlie takes the train to work every day, and today he's late. The attention of all the men in the carriage was drawn to the legs in stockings. Charlie did not buy a ticket for this train, and his wife took all the cash from him. That's why he didn't have $6 to pay for the ticket. Lucinda, the owner of those legs, helped him out without a ticket. Charlie sat down to thank her. They immediately struck up a conversation. Lucinda is a sarcastic, self-assured standout. She works as a financial advisor, so she's not worried about losing $6. No, I have to pay it back or I'll feel like a moral freak. What are you saying? They agreed to meet again tomorrow on the train. At work, Charlie is friends with Winston Boyko, an ex-con and hockey fan. He recently tried to steal some computers. Our hero caught him, but didn't rat him out. The ad man's in trouble. He just lost an important client. He and his wife haven't had any romance in a long time. It's all about chores, responsibilities, and his daughter's health problems. The girl is always very sad. The piling up of problems brought Charlie to tears. When his wife came home, they passionately lashed out at each other. But because of the stress, the man screwed up. The next day, Charlie paid Lucinda back and showed her a picture of Amy. The woman also has a daughter and her picture in her wallet. They talked the whole way through. Charlie had a serious crush on his new acquaintance. He decided to see if the woman was being honest with him. And found her profile on the finance company's website. Yeah, that's right. It also listed her work phone number. Charlie called right away and set up a date. Lucinda doesn't seem to be very happily married. Her husband's on the road and they don't talk much. That night, Emmy had a seizure. The parents had to get her insulin in as soon as possible or she would die. Charlie complained to a friend that they had mortgaged the house to buy a kidney dialysis machine. He also revealed that the family has been saving money for years to buy an innovative drug that is about to go on sale. Charlie called his wife and lied about being late for work today. Lucinda made the same call to her husband. The couple got drunk at a bar. That's where Charlie kissed Lucinda for the first time. What are we doing? That never happened to me. I've never cheated on my husband. Some creepy guy walked in on their conversation, sassed them, and started hitting on Lucinda, for which Charlie got a natural kick in the face. On the street, the traitor again took Lucinda's lips. Now they went in a cab and chose a suitable hotel. The woman asked to stop near one unremarkable hotel, but then declared that she couldn't do that. However, she quickly changed her mind. His Charlie's already paying $46 for a room. And it's not a room that's conducive to romance. Lucinda is clearly embarrassed. Do you want to stay or go? I don't know. Lucinda finally declares that she wants to sleep with Charlie. The lovers were already ready to cheat on their spouse, but that's when some creepy type swept into the room and pulled a gun on them. Always lock yourself out of hotels like this. The robber broke Charlie in and took their wallets. He's bullying the lovers. It's not enough for him to just take the money. The bastard pulled Lucinda to him. Charlie wanted to protect her, but the robber beat the man. Lucinda tried to escape, but the criminal threw her on the bed and roughly took her right in front of Charlie. When the man came to his senses, a shocked Lucinda sat on the bed and did not move. Charlie wanted to call the police, but his mistress asked him to stop. After all, they would have to confess what they were doing here. It would destroy her family. Lucinda cleaned herself up and got into the cab without once looking at Charlie. The beaten-up loser had shown up to work like that and told the employees he'd been robbed. Charlie needs to cancel his credit cards as the boss insisted he go home. The cheater told the same story to his wife, while Charlie was soaking in the bath. It was the burglar. He decided to make sure Charlie didn't call the police. Mr. LaRoche was even able to speak to his wife Diane, and afterwards he turned to blackmail. He demanded he pay him $20,000 to keep Charlie's affair a secret. A man came to work with Lucinda. She hadn't been able to eat or sleep properly for a week. The woman again refused to call the police. Upon learning of the affair, the powerful husband would immediately take her daughter away from her. Lucinda wanted to give Charlie half of the extorted amount, but he didn't take the money. "I came to see how you're doing. I don't think we should see each other." Lucinda stated that they should forget about each other. Charlie had to take $20,000 out of his savings. With the cash, he drove to the gangster district of town. There he was run over by a dark-skinned gangster who turned out to be LaRoche's accomplice. Dexter frisked Charlie and dragged him into a back alley. The Frenchman was waiting for his victim in an abandoned room. Charlie silently handed over the briefcase containing the money. In response, LaRoche kicked Charlie under the breath with all his might for blocking his credit cards. A month had passed since then. Winston told him how he had not had a good time in prison. To survive, he had to kill one convict. In a situation where it's either you or him, you have to go to the extreme. That evening, LaRoche called again, demanding money. He would be off Charlie's back forever if he paid him $100,000, and if he didn't, it would be bad news for his family. Right now, the criminal is calling from his house. Charlie rushed home as fast as he could. There, LaRoche was sitting on the couch in a business suit, chatting sweetly with Diane. The bastard pretended to be Charlie's business partner. This French darling found his way to his daughter. As soon as the family got out, Charlie demanded that the criminal get out of his house. But LaRoche grabbed him firmly by the balls. The bandit accused the man of having everything, and he also decided to go left. LaRoche once again reminded him about the $100,000, let go of Charlie's balls, and finally left. Only now Charlie decided to consult with his lawyer. He said that it would do him good to go to the police if he did it together with Lucinda. But the woman doesn't want to hear about it. She recently had an abortion after that horrible night. So Charlie turns to Winston for advice. His buddy suggested he just pay the thug if he had the dough. He's not gonna let him get away with it anyway. But Charlie can't do that. They've been saving that money for their daughter's treatment. Winston saw a lot of rapists in prison. They're weak and cowards. That's why he's ready to take this Frenchman down. For only 10%, Winston makes the goat a total asshole, and the friend gets to keep $90,000. Charlie celebrated his daughter's birthday, and the next day he gets a letter from LaRoche. Now he doesn't even have $10,000. So Charlie rallied his boss that he needed the money for a new commercial. Together with Winston, they went to the meeting place. The petty thug received the payment and pulled out a gun. He needs it to scare the Frenchman. The cannon's not loaded anyway. He hands Charlie the shiv he used to take down his enemy. Winston instructs his friend. He says he must show strength and always act one step ahead. That's when Winston got his brains blown out. LaRoche went to the car and took that $10,000. "You killed him. Why'd you bring him here, Vanyuchka?" "I take out what's in my way. I take out what's in my way." LaRoche left the scene of the crime. Charlie was about to do the same, but then a nightstick landed next to him. Mademoiselle offered her body to him and his buddy in the car. Also, the cops who've been running Candy's operation pulled up here. They demanded that Charlie apologize for turning his nose up at such a hottie. The man had to tip Candy a tenner. "Good luck, Candy. You too, Joe." Charlie's luck had run out, but now he had to figure out what to do with Winston's body. He decided to drown his friend along with his car in the river. But the trouble was, the car got stuck on the bank. So he had to leave everything as it was. The next day, Detective Chorch came to Charlie's office. He knew Dominic and had become friends with him. And yesterday, he was found murdered. That was a bad time to call LaRoche. He broke into Lucinda's house and demands that Charlie bring the dough to him as soon as possible, or his wife and daughter will be next. Charlie had no more options left, so he withdrew $100,000 from the bank. The man drove to the right address and entered the apartment. Dexter held Lucinda at gunpoint. A satisfied LaRoche took the money and put a gun to Charlie's head. A terrified Lucinda can't understand how the thugs were able to track her down. She is so sorry that Charlie had to give up the money that could have saved his daughter. The devastated man called his wife. but he couldn't say a word. He decided to get drunk in a bar. That's where Detective George found him. The owner of the bar saw Charlie in Winston's company. Plus, he has no alibi. So the next time they talk to each other, they'll be in front of a lawyer. Charlie continued drinking at home. He confessed to his wife that they no longer had the money they had been saving for the past 7 years. He also told her about the affair. Charlie was late for a meeting with his lawyer to see Lucinda, but the manager claims that Lucinda is the dark-skinned lady over there, and the woman he met here was her temporary secretary. She's already quit. The pseudo-Lucinda had recently moved out of her apartment, and that girl in the photo was not her daughter, but a model from the cover of an advertising brochure. Charlie saw Gunya at the train station and wanted to approach her, but she was in the company of some man. And it's not her husband, but another fool, whom she and LaRoche are going to scam for money. That evening, Charlie checked into that hotel. The con artist follows the same pattern. During dinner at the restaurant, Lopuk called his wife and lied that he would be late. Afterward, they drove to a familiar hotel. By the way, Dexter works there as a doorman. The receptionist is also in on it. While the thugs wait for the elevator, Charlie ran ahead of them up the stairs. Dexter stayed on the lookout near the elevator. Meanwhile, LaRoche was trying to break into the room. But Charlie knocked him out by hitting him twice in the head with a candlestick. He took away the gun and threw the Frenchman into a room with the lovebirds. Charlie told the man that these crooks were going to rip him off. In order to make Lapouche believe him, Charlie described the algorithm of deception. Every time he and LaRoche acted the same way. Just as the Frenchman wakes up, he's not going to give the little sucker his money back. The guy suddenly jumped on Charlie and tried to take the gun away from him. During the struggle was accidentally wounded con artist. The fool began yelling and demanding to be let out. LaRoche pulled out a spare gun and shot him. Charlie was out of ammunition. Charlie himself took the gun from Dexter and shot LaRoche in the face. The brief confrontation ended with Charlie firing before Dexter and killing him. Soon after, the accomplices went to the other side of the world and Jennifer Aniston. Charlie gave a statement to the police. Next room, after all. Detective George had also arrived. As he left, Charlie demanded the return of his signed briefcase, which the receptionist kept in his safe. $100,000 was still inside. Unfortunately, Charlie did not get away with it completely. He was accused of embezzling $10,000 from the advertising budget. His boss suspects that Charlie has been stealing from him constantly. Just return the money and you'll be sent to community service. For his misdemeanor, Charlie became an inmate teacher for 6 months. One of the notebooks described everything that had happened to him lately. At the end, he saw an offer to go down to the laundry room. Charlie walked past the aggressive cons and entered the next room. The rogue LaRoche had survived that shootout. And he intends to avenge the death of the woman he loved. The Frenchman promised that he would ruin Charlie's life for the rest of his life and attack the teacher. He's so glad that fate has brought them back together. LaRoche, huh? I chose this prison on my own. Charlie was one step ahead and stabbed LaRoche behind his friend's point. After this incident, the man confronts Detective Church again. The policeman knows it was LaRoche who killed Winston. Also that the white-collar man couldn't have handled the badass without training. But the important thing is that Winston was a